For good measure, let's talk about evaluating and implementing success with the Smithsonian Transcription Center. My name is Meghan Ferriter, and I work with the public, museum and archive staff, and curators and collection managers, and I also support other crowdsourcing projects, all in my role as project coordinator for the Smithsonian Transcription Center. The Smithsonian Digital Volunteers Transcription Center is a service, a website, and a program of engagement. Volunteers participate 24 hours a day from around the world. Working in a peer review process, over 5,370 volunteers have completely transcribed and reviewed over 122,000 pages of historic and archival materials, biodiversity specimens, and more. The Transcription Center is a pan-institutional project in which 13 Smithsonian galleries, libraries, archives, and museums, or GLAMs, share diverse projects. There are various objectives for these projects, stemming from the priorities of these participating GLAMs. The main goal for the Smithsonian Transcription Center is to collaborate with the public to create text that can be indexed, and therefore make digitized items more accessible and useful for researchers, staff, and the public. And there are other goals as well. Some projects are seeking the text for further use in research. Some projects require data extraction to flesh out collection records. Some programs are hoping to showcase their rich collections, and other programs would like to increase engagement and connect with the public through their collections on the Smithsonian Transcription Center. So, what is success, and what can regularly be measured, analyzed, and usefully implemented as strategy? How can success or failure help pave the way for our understanding and growth for our participating groups and the Transcription Center as a whole? These are the kinds of questions I ask in my role because I'm trying to manage the experiences of the public, of our staff, and the potential of future participants for both spaces. So, what is success? For us, it's not only meeting our goals, but also interrogating how we met our goals. Success for us tends to be iteratively understood, relational, and of course specific. Here's the great news. There are people across industries who are ready and willing to share. I'd like to recognize peers from the web and new media teams at the Smithsonian who take the time to share their approaches to gathering, interpreting, reporting, and coping with data. Effie Capsalis, Aaron Blasco, Sarah Banks, and Brian Alpert. Thanks! Rather than reinventing the wheel, let me share their main guidance with you as it regularly informs my approach. A step-by-step approach includes determining your goals, deciding strategies to achieve those goals, deciding tactics to pursue the strategies, deciding what and how to measure, and also benchmarking to get a sense of what's your normal. And the best tips are to keep it manageable and simple, go for specifics, gather data over time, reflect and adjust based on that data, and tell good stories. My approach in determining how to evaluate projects emerges out of this great guidance. For each museum and archive, and each of their projects, I ask questions to tease out their goals in relation to time, engagement, and showcasing particular aspects of their collections. For time, we ask questions about whether or not the project is time critical, as in do they need the data quickly? Are there expectations about the time that they think the project will take? Are they uncertain about the amount of time it should take, or do they not particularly care about timelines? And with engagement, we ask, do they have other engagement standards or metrics that they keep? And what about the resources? Do they have resources to support engagement or modify their strategy for this goal? Then I break down this set of questions into smaller questions and select data sources for what might be the easiest way to understand what is happening around the project. As the first project or two for a participating museum or archive begins and then completes, I baseline and interpret some of those numbers, usually things like the number of participants, time the project took to complete, a general overview of from where volunteers participated, popular times and days for participation, the kinds of questions that were asked about and connections made to the project, and who exactly were the volunteers. Were they novices? Were they our frequently contributing members? And more. Typically, the participating GLAM approves the transcribed content and evaluates its accuracy, though I help with that as well. Variables of success then become what we can measure. We can consider project completion or total volume of projects for each participating GLAM, the rate of project completion, how quickly projects are finishing, the accuracy of the transcription, the number of contributing members, which can be an indication of either the complexity of or comfort with the material. Also, the geographic spread of contributing members, the engagement around the narratives of the projects, and also identifying places to improve instruction, particularly when we hear multiple questions about how to complete particular projects. And this will be a first pass over data and trying to evaluate the success of a project. There also are metrics that I keep in relation to the long-term progress of the Smithsonian Transcription Center, or cumulative data. Measuring over time allows us to see the growth and acquisition of volunteers, projects, and units participating in the Transcription Center, the reasonable cycles of participation around certain types of projects or certain times of year, and also give us data to support and invite new participating GLAMs, and drive more quickly at their goals and needs. Another element of supporting so many diverse projects means stumbling upon unexpected events of success or fielding questions and bespoke requests for data. An example includes connecting Smithsonian Transcription Center projects with National Handwriting Day. When bespoke requests or events occur, I document the ways in which I analyze the data so I can replicate the process should a similar request come again. The tools I use often are our live site-derived statistics, weekly statistic polls, Google Analytics, Excel or Google spreadsheets to share data, and workflows I've established to analyze and compare data. I also use other built-in tools for evaluation, such as analytics for campaigns like MailChimp, analytics for Twitter, and other social media analytics. As you can imagine, that becomes quite a bit of data to manage. Remember those recommendations to keep it simple and manageable? Here's where context and good storytelling come into play. If you were listening closely, you may have noticed I've already shared several indicators of success. But did I give you enough information to make sense of the metrics I provided? Reporting and communication approaches also need to be in mind when gathering an idea of what you'll measure. Here are two examples of the ways I've indicated cumulative success of Transcription Center projects. In both cases, this information was shared against previous totals, again representing gathering data and comparing it over time. Gathering data and analyzing it over time can set the stage for stronger comparison and suggest points for strategic action. Here I teased out our success, but reminded our participating groups that we could increase our pipeline or queue of projects. Capturing and integrating data in this way allows you to see cycles and patterns in behavior across projects and with volunteers. The last few examples have related to sharing information with Smithsonian staff, but I also give information to volunteers when I report. With our volunteers, ongoing smaller check-ins on project progress, as well as details on campaign or challenge activity, have been more rapidly and effectively used. And now that that approach has been used well, I can use it to better inform a more holistic approach to long-term reporting for volunteers as well. For new staff and programs, I also try to provide somewhat live and baseline information. This information can be used to establish confidence and enthusiasm for the Transcription Center, as well as be useful for comparison with other organizational goals. For our staff and existing program members, I dig into specific requests and update, and also maintain understanding of project's progress and the overall ecology of the Transcription Center. I also provided monthly updates that explore top-level and cumulative dimensions of the Smithsonian Transcription Center. These nuanced views of data push at the edges of how we are doing and surface places in which we can grow and improve. So our good measure is teasing out success in relation to goals, tools, and information, and also placing that in the context of reflection and constant iteration. Since I'm still learning every day, I'd love to hear your approaches as well. I'd like to thank the MicroPasts team for inviting me to participate, and I'd welcome any questions. Please get in touch.